According to the 2016 fiscal year budget request, NASA wants $18.5 billion. What would happen if we, I don't know, doubled it? Hey Space Rangers, Trace here for DNews. NASA is owned by the people of the United States of America. If you pay taxes here, you are helping support space exploration. When NASA landed on the moon, we the people did that. The thing is, excepting the space race, which was during Cold War time, the US has spent roughly the same amount on NASA every year, between 0.5% and 1% of the federal budget. Currently, that is about $18 billion. Americans spend $27 billion on pizza annually, for comparison, and $97 billion on alcohol. So we got to thinking, what would NASA do if the government gave them a few billion extra bucks? Well, according to Jeff Matthews of the Space Frontier Foundation, a well-funded NASA could send more crew to the International Space Station, provide money for commercial spaceflight, boost deep space human missions, and help us send a robotic mission to Europa. Because of the current budget, however, we don't even staff the International Space Station fully. Matthews wrote to DNews, "We are missing out on direct, near-term science," meaning there are more science proposals submitted than there are crew on the ISS to carry them out. If NASA's budget were doubled or tripled, that would still leave it $10 billion less than the Department of Education, or $12 billion less than just the intelligence budget of the Department of Defense. And as Micah Walter Range of the Space Foundation wrote to us, if money were no object, NASA could invest heavily in developing new technology. They could, say, maintain the ISS after 2024 when it's slated to be abandoned, and fund the human spaceflight program. Right now, it's either or. It would be great to have both, as the ISS could provide more research and support as we venture into deep space. As Walter Range wrote, there's a huge need for more biological research if we're going to try and send people to live away from Earth. We may even need to do some tinkering with our physiology in order to survive in different levels of gravity. Unfortunately, a fully funded NASA probably isn't in the cards. Previously, cuts have reduced NASA's public outreach, the office dedicated to helping the American people understand what NASA is doing with their tax dollars. And in 2015, Congress cut the Earth Science budget, the department that looks at the Earth as a whole system to understand how it is changing. Interestingly, Earth Science is also where climate scientists get much of their data. Congress cut that budget, huh? Surprise. The Space Frontier Foundation's policy director, Aaron Osterly, wrote to DNews that NASA is used as a, quote, political football by various special interest groups, meaning people will cheer NASA on and support programs that could result in dead ends, when what is needed is a real discussion about goals and strategies. Instead, according to Matthews, a tripled budget could get a manned Mars landing in the late 2020s, sustained exploration, and, quote, significant value for the American public and other beneficiaries of NASA. What beneficiaries? Glad you asked. Well, the taxpayers for one, but also private companies like SpaceX, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Raytheon, Global ATK, Lockheed Martin, and dozens of others who all are contracted with NASA, meaning there's a real return on investment for these tax dollars. And yet, alas, NASA's next human mission to Mars and the new rocket that will take us there are both slated for significant cuts under the proposed budget for 2017. Look, as Dr. Tyson says, NASA costs Americans half a penny per tax dollar. That fraction of a dollar bill is not enough from the edge to reach the ink. Increases like this could restore and boost standard missions, like weather, atmospheric, and earth sciences, while accelerating and securing contracts for new launch systems, human and biological study, as well as robotic and human-based missions to the edges of our imagination. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, it would. If you're as into space as we are at Discovery, then make sure you tell your phone to remind you about the global premiere of Telescope on Saturday, February 20th at 9/8 Central on Discovery Channel. It's going to be awesome. If you're thinking all this sounds great, but what would all of these investments do for me? Guess what? A lot. Check out this video here for all the ways space exploration has benefited you right now. This does a crap ton of stuff for you here on Earth. And I'm not just talking about stupid stuff like batteries, eyeglasses, GPS navigation, weather satellites, global telecommunications. You know, who needs those things, right? Special thanks to both the Space Frontier Foundation and the Space Foundation for their help with this story. How much money would you give NASA? What would you fund? Let us know down in the comments. Keep coming back here for more DNews, and please subscribe.